guys, karibuni sana on this YouTube channel. My name is Wahwa Karimbi, and today we're going to have a very interesting topic, and we're going to talk about the youth. Where are our youth? Kama sahi kuna COVID, mayouth wetu wanafanya nini? Mko home mkifanya nini? Mashida zenye mnapitia, wazazi wanawasaidia kutatua. Are you talking them out ama mnakaa tu nazo? That is our topic today, and that's why I've brought pastors on board when watakuwa wanatusaidia, to talk about all that is affecting the youth. And right here, we've got Reverend Wangoto. He's chaplain Sarehe Boys. Karibu sana. We've got our host, Reverend Josephine. Karibu. Reverend Jehia, Reverend Nene, and Sam. Karibuni sana.
So, thank you.
Wangoto, tuanze hapo tusalimie.
Thank you very much, and welcome viewers to our show today. My name is Josephat Wagoto. I love the Lord. I am a clergy of the Anglican Church, and by the grace of God, I'm the chaplain of Starehe Boys Center.
Wow.
Thank you, and karibuni sana.
Thank you very much. I'm Josephine Mutuota, serving in PCA Gateway. Welcome all of you, and welcome team. Thank you. Let us work together as we look at the topic of the day. God be with us. Amen.
Thank you. I greet all of you viewers. I'm Moran Jehia, a minister with the Presbyterian Church serving in Marsabit, and I'm glad to be here to discuss about the young people. Karibuni sana.
That's it.
Thank you very much. My name is Nene. I am a minister with the Methodist Church in Kenya. I serve here in Nairobi in the Nairobi Synod office as the youth and the junior church coordinator. And I am glad to be here this afternoon as we continue with this deliberation, this discussion about where are our young people. Vijana mko wapi? Asante sana.
Hello guys, Sam here. I currently work with developers to develop software, and we are here to talk to the youth. Wase mko wapi? Tumekaa mko wachi.
Nice. Tumekuja kuwacheck. So you're going to start right here. Reverend Wangoto, you deal with the youth. Tunawaita maboys. Maboys wako wapi? Sahi shule zimefungwa, hakuna camps zenye tunaendanga churches, hakuna ati youth retreat, hakuna, wako tu home. What are they doing?
I would say that this is a very delicate time. It would not be very possible to give an account of where every young person is.
Yeah, sure.
Like you rightly said, in a normal school holiday, I would expect them to be either in a youth camp, in sports activities, in maybe tuition programs where they do extra tuitions at home.
Yes.
Now, that cannot be done. Physically, it cannot be done. So the big question I have with me is, I allowed our boys to go home, but I'm not very sure that I can give a proper account of where each one of them is. I know I would expect them to be with their parents at home, but the parents are also in the same dilemma. Some are working, others are not working. Some are working from home, others are working from their place of work. And with all these uncertainties about COVID, the question about where are our youth, it abounds in our minds, all of us. It is a concern to everybody because I would expect the church in the neighborhood to have gathered them. The church cannot do that. I would expect them to gather together for a sports activity. That cannot be done. I would expect them maybe to go for some tuition programs. That too cannot be done. I would expect maybe them to travel with their families, maybe for picnics, for wherever, for all manner of outings that people do. That too cannot be done.
Yes.
I would expect them in entertainment joints. That too cannot be done. So the question is, where are our youth? I wouldn't tell you that I can give you a proper account of where my youth are.
Reverend, mayouth wako wako wapi? And do you think they're doing the right thing mahali wako?
It's a good question. And I think this is a question that is touching every parent who has a young person. It is also touching us as a church because if you came last year, a time like now, okay, generally speaking, this is July.
Yeah.
We would have told you they are in school. We are waiting for them in August. But now, this time round, it is not easy to say exactly where they are.
Yeah.
You try to reach out to some parents, they'll tell you, okay, so and so is in the house, so and so is busy on Zoom classes and busy doing 1, 2, 3. But somehow, to be sincere, as a church, we can only say youth wetu walikaa home vile waliambiwa wakae home.
Yes.
Sasa I'm happy that we have this team. They will try to help us. Really, wamekaa home. Kama sasa Sam ni myouth mmoja ametuambia stories za sijui kudevelop nini
Yes.
atatuambia kana waona kwa hiyo world yao.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very good topic that we will pray that the Lord will help us to know exactly where are they. Yes.
And before Reverend Nene atuambie whether youth wanafanya what they are supposed to be doing ama what they are doing, what are the expectations of the youth right now venye wako home? What are they supposed to be doing?
Thank you for that question. I think this is a new normal for everyone. Nobody expected COVID to come. The old people, the young people, the children, everyone. So it's a new normal for everyone. And to an extent, it has become the new normal is actually an abnormality.
Yes.
In that people have to adjust in ways they were not used to before. The young people are in different places. The question, where are they? If we are to give a straight answer, we would say they are home.
What are they doing at
The
home?
question is, what are they doing at home? There is no one answer that fits all. There are some actually who may be very busy milking cows and working in the farms because that's where they are. There is another number that is just idling at home, doing nothing, just staying in the house and sleeping and doing all that. There's another group of young people who are very busy, but busy lost in the virtual world.
Sure.
They're in social media 24/7. That's where they are. And they are accessing all sorts of things while doing that. And there's still another group that is engaged by schools. There are schools that are offering online teaching. So from morning to evening, they're engaged there. So there's no one answer that fits all. But we cannot be able to account for them. All those people are doing different things, and probably you'll look at it further as we move along. They are not doing one thing; they're doing different things. But majority of them are not engaged in any way and are idle.
They are idle.
Yeah.
You talked about most of them wako kwa social media. Reverend Nene, wengi wako pale wakipiga maselfie wakipost kwa Instagram, Facebook, all those social media handles. At how far wanafaa kuenda in social media? Ama are they even supposed to be in social media?
To try and capture what you have asked Wahu, at first whether they are doing the right thing. Before even go to the social media, who defines for the young people what is the right thing? And I just want to go back to what Reverend Wangoto said. In the old normal, you'd expect them during their school holidays to be at home, depending on locality, because now as we speak, you're not just speaking for the youth in Nairobi. We are speaking for every young person we can think of in this republic, for example. Ukifikiria wale mayouth wako Oshago, their way of doing the right thing is unaamka asubuhi, kuna nyasi ya ng'ombe ya kukatwa, kuna wale wako na majani chai ya kwenda kuvunwa, kuchunwa, kuna wale kama ni season ya kahawa, kuna wale wako kwa kahawa. So what is right for my youth, it is not them actually who defines most of the time. It is either the parent or the school or the church. There is a kind of a social structure which defines for them what is right. Now, in the time where we are living in, like Reverend Wangoto said, that structure has been disbanded totally. They are not in school, they are not in church, they are not on the playground. Pengine wale wako Oshago kule hakujaadhirika na kujafungwa kama Nairobi, bado wanakamua ng'ombe na wanachuna chai na wanafanya hizo kazi zingine za nyumbani. But there's something also I've also discovered. Oshago si Oshago tena. Oshago sifikiria ni Oshago tena. Ushago pia smartphone iko huko. So now going to the social media, what they are doing in the city, they are also doing in Oshago.
Yes.
The only thing is, do you have a proper internet connection? And I can tell you, Kenya is one country which is wonderfully blessed with some of these amenities, whether we realize it or not. Some of our neighbors are not. Safaricom pale iko na booster, ama hata ile Airtel tunaita nini, ile ya mbao, unlimited ya mbao. That is all they need for them to be able to get on,
Yeah,
on
sure.
social media. So social media wako, I have my own. I love social media, by the way, and I patronize quite a number of sites where they are, because I also, as a youth minister, I want to be part of their conversations.
Yes.
And I also want to be part of what they are doing, for me to know how to shape what is right within what they are doing.
Yes.
But I can tell you, one of the things that gives me a lot of jitters as a youth pastor is a question of identity and young people. So right now, as they engage on social media, what is the identity they have on those sites? Let me give an example. Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram iko na something tunaitanga filter.
Ai.
Mimi ukiniangalia rangi yangu nilibarikiwa na melanin mob sana. Sawa. Lakini naweza kuwa mzungu.
Yeah.
Kata sio Instagram.
Instagram.
I can post a pseudo account with a different name, nijitafutie tu jina ya kibabi fulani, nijibadilishe rangi na nijiseme ninaishi California. Who will know?
No one.
Nobody can know. So even as we are on social media can also be very unsocial.
Okay.
Thank you for now.
Thank you. Just to cut you short, yeah. Sam, umetuambia you're in the world of digital, yeah, right? So, as Sha said, most of the young people work on the smartphones. So my question is, what are they supposed to be doing with their phones?
First I'd say that saizi youth wanafaa kuwa wakiwa shule. Sometimes you do the right thing at the right time, you know. But we find that youth sahi hawafanyi kenye wanafaa kuwa wakifanya. There is part of some time that inapotelea in social media. So apparently what they should be doing right now is focusing more on school, focusing more on either the line that you've taken, focusing more on sports, but social media is now taking the space. And why is it taking the space? It's because social media is not just about chatting. This thing has been built on psychology. This is what youth do. This is what they are given this platform to do it. So, as parents, as a society, we need to think of a way we create something else that the students and the youth wataweza kukuwa occupied.
And that's why we are here to know what are those ways zenye wazazi wanafaa kukama up nazo, that mtoto jukuta mnyang'anya simu revenge here, so ukimwacha nyumbani atakuwa anafanya nini na hiyo simu yake. Okay, apart from that, lately in our TVs tumeona the rise in teens pregnancies zimeongezeka. You know, what is the problem? Who has failed? Is it the students? Is it the parents? Who has really failed?
That has always been a difficult question to answer, because in the past the blame is apportioned either to the church,
Yeah.
to the school, or to the parents, or maybe the society. That may not be the case today, because all of them are disillusioned. The church cannot play its role, the school cannot play its role, and all that. And you know, we are living in a time when we have made our schools to be one sex school, like girls only school, boys only school.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we bring up a generation that for 3 months is locked in a place. And the moment you release them, it's like when you release a bull. They are ready to engage. They are ready to engage. And now, you even go to a time when they have uncensored freedom.
Yeah.
And that uncensored freedom gives them opportunity to be able to interact indiscriminately.
Yeah.
So we have boys and girls waiting for schools to be open, and while they wait, they are free to engage with one another. And then, of course, our value system has been eroded over time, such that we do not talk about personal accountability. That we tell one another that character is what you would do if you knew no one, is watching and no one was going to discover. So we live with children who always they live for us.
Yes.
So they do something just to please us. Even when they are alone, if they know this one mommy will not discover, or daddy will not discover, or pastor will not discover, they are free to engage in all that. And that's why we have seen a situation whether, of course, there is a debate of whether those statistics are true or not. But but they may be exaggerated. But the reality is there is indiscriminate sexual encounters between our boys and girls in our homes, in our villages, in our estates. It is happening. And the issue is how are we going to deal with it as the church? Because at the end of the day, wait until the church opens. They will flock to celebrate whatever and celebrate. Oh, my daughter is pregnant. What am I going to do? Oh, my son has done this. And it's not only about the sexual immorality, even the use of drugs and substances. There's a lot of that activity taking place.
Yes. Reverend Josephine, there is question I've been asked severally, and I'm sure most of us wameuliza na other chief pastors. Well, who am I not supposed to have a girlfriend? Am I not supposed to have a boyfriend? So, at what age? Najua hata wengi wanatuwatch wanashangaa. Sasa Reverend Wangata, sifai kukuwa na boyfriend, sifai kukuwa na girlfriend.
Okay, that's a good question. And what we can say is that unafaa kuwa na boyfriend na girlfriend, but there is time for everything. If you're not able to understand the time you are in, you find yourself messing up. You're supposed to know, if I am a teenager, at this time I'm supposed to engage in 1, 2, 3, 4. And so you concentrate on that. Many times we will tell our youth or our young people, apana, you're not supposed to have a boyfriend. But the point here is we qualify in terms of seasons. I like what you had asked earlier, and as Reverend Wamgoto says, who is to blame? The other day, and I'm sure you can witness this, the president was so annoyed and he was so angry. He even went to a point of saying, wewe chief tukijua. And sometimes our young people, and I'm sure they'll get this from us, they live as though they are living for somebody else. So long as I do this, there's somebody to blame, I am safe. We want to tell you the truth. Life ni yako. Jibebe, jihandle vizuri. Usigoje chief ablemiwe na prezi, akifutwa job alafu, kama we mwenyewe huwezi contain, you are in trouble. There is time for everything.
Reverend Jelia, how come ukiangalia siku zetu ama siku zenu, early pregnancies hazikuwa mingi hivyo? You knew maybe you're supposed to have a boyfriend, ukimaliza shule, college, that's when you're allowed to have one. But now the pregnancies ziko juu kabisa. What has changed?
I would mention two things. One is our value system. The way we are brought up and the way the current children are brought up is totally different. There are some things that you're not even supposed to be heard talking about them. I remember one time I was with my grandmother and I was watering some vegetables. My sister was there. Then unconsciously I sang a secular song. My grandmother called me, stood up and asked me, what is it you want to teach your sister? In Kikuyu. I did, actually, it maybe have been my first time. I had heard about that song, but I had never sung it. I just sang like 1 or 2 lines. And I was reprimanded. And I can tell you, since then, I have not attempted to sing. So I would be very careful in what I do and what I don't do. So there was a value system, and we believed in that value system. And number two is the exposure that we have. You know, like that song I was singing, but nowadays, we've mentioned about social media. It is a whole world of exposure, different cultures, different value systems. What we may value here may not be valued elsewhere, but it may look cool to the young people. Watu wa huko wana behave hivi. So for us to appear to fit in with the rest of the world, let's adopt this. So they adopt new value systems that actually take them away from what they ought to have followed. So that's a big, big problem that we have.
Can you say the parents are failed? Alright, haya. Reverend Nene, kuna vile tumesema, in like, I have a friend of mine in Kibra who was telling me, for me who I'll go sleep with someone, at least anipatie 50 shillings to buy myself a pad, you know. Ama wengine wanasema, my mom hajaniprovidea nguo. I want to look good. Tulisema mambo ya social media. I want to have a phone. I want to have good hair. I want my nails made. Itatengenezwa aje? So I'll have to go so that maybe they can give me some money to do that. So who has failed here?
I would say this conversation is bigger than that question.
Yeah.
Because we have found ourselves sucked up in somebody else's discussion, and we don't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
Because who are the parents who have teenagers today? Are people who are between 40-45, yule alianza mapema sana pengine 35. So by the time between 35 and 45-year-olds are the people who have teens in high school and people who are just beginning campus. And this is the age group largely which is suffering from a lot of the things that we have talked about. So who has failed? I wouldn't categorically just point a finger at the parent, because even this parent has been caught up like in a tidal wave of some kind. Because I remember growing up in the 80s as a little girl, my parents were largely civil servants. And if your parents have been civil servants, you know, ni watu wa 8 o'clock mpaka 5. If you're in a small town, that is doable because hakuna traffic jam. But hakuna mzazi civil servant kama Nairobi ambaye ni wa 8 to 5. Anarauka Ngware na giza na anarudi jioni kama kuna nini, kuna giza. Who supervises these children in? Na si makosa ya mzazi kutafuta pesa. So it's a whole concoction of things that we were left behind as a society. Dunia ikasonga mbele. We are trying to navigate this space, but again, we are not too sure. Coming to the church, and largely in this country, many of us are church people. And I don't know if it's just a church people's thing or to say it's an African people's thing. There are discussions we don't have in the daylight. There are discussions we don't talk about. Think about sexuality. Now coming directly to the question you asked me. How many parents, even Christian parents today, even my own colleagues, ministers, wazee wa kanisa, madikons wa kanisa, unajua wale wanaketi pale ndio wanaamua pesa ya kanisa inatumiwa aje. How many of them have ever had a discussion about matter sexuality with their children? So if you're not talking about sexuality with your own daughter, with your own son, do you think they're not talking about it? Definitely they are talking about it. And they are talking about it either in our times and slightly a few years after, we would talk about it in the playground in school. But right now, they are talking about it on social media. I need to look good. All right? Think about this filter syndrome we have on social media. I need to look good. Beshte yako anakuambia aje, unataka kukaa poa? Mimi najua mahali tunaweza kutoa do because sasa mzai pia hawezi kupatia pesa, si ndio? Unaenda kutafuta nini? Sponsor. There was a clip I saw from BBC about a 24-year-old in Nairobi. Very comfortably so, and my heart sank. Her parents are both alive. She was a university student in one of our universities. The main campus is here in Nairobi. And she said without blinking, akona sponsor ngapi? Tatu. What do you think the other girls around her see? Peruvian weaves. Weave moja ni karibu school fees. Sasa wewe uko na kalona ka help, don't even start thinking about those things. But then kuna mzae fulani ambaye akona do ya kutumika tena warembo. Peruvian weave 25k unang'ara nayo. Ukitokezea kwa watu, and you know nowadays we wear everything fake, eh?
Yes.
From the weaves to the eyelashes to the nails to the everything. People start thinking, hey, na huyu manzi anakaa poa.
Naweza penda
Hata mimi
kukaa
nataka kukaa.
yeye.
So you
Yeah,
see,
okay.
the way they have been alluding to our value systems.
Yes.
The parent is not talking to this child. In the church, we are shy to talk about it in the open.
Yes.
Where are we talking about it? Sisi kama youth. Sawa sawa?
Yeah.
Sisi kama nini? Kama youth. So you can imagine, this is a 19-year-old advising another 19-year-old. Tutaongea nini? Si ile tu story tunataka kuongea.
Yeah,
And that is where we miss them.
Okay. Yeah. Sam, do you think parents wako na time yetu, do they listen to us? Do they educate us? Do they talk to us about sex education? Do you think so?
First, as I answer that question, about this topic yenye tunaongelea, let's not forget that these things have been there for generations. Prostitution has been there in the Bible since kitambo. Tusikae ni kama hii kitu imekuja jana.
Ingawaje imeongezeka.
Ama imeongezeka, it has been there. In the United States, there is a whole law on marriage pertaining the youth, and it's not something new. It's something that is faced worldwide. Now, answering what she's asking me, ningependa kusema wazazi wetu try sana. They really try to understand us to a point that ukiangalia vizuri inafikaga mahali ukiwa mdogo. I know nile auni mtoto ya juu kinataka akigrow kidogo unapata pero ukiwa na mashida inafika mahali inaacha kuwa mambo ya vita, inakuwa mambo shida iko wapi, nini nitafanya, nimekusomesha kufanya kila kitu. Our parents are trying, but this is where the problem is. On the span of our parents trying, the world move faster than the parents.
Absolutely.
Unaona, dunia ilisonga mbio.
Mzazi ako tu pale.
Now this is how the parent would use the weapon. Social media is not software, by the way. This is what I tell people. Social media is the hardware. If parents would withdraw this machine, it's done. It's over. But our parents are really trying a lot. And what I think should be done is parents should not only focus on structures that they should work on. See structure peke yake. Say strategy.
But I wish to ask a question. Kama sasa umesema if parents would choose them, vitu zingekuwa poa. But now, kama vile hawaendi shule, they are zooming with our phones, with our tabs. So how are you going to, we can't withdraw that because wanazitumia fulani. What about that?
Nene. I can give an example with what I know some of the parents are doing.
Yes.
And I like what both of us na Sam tumeallude to. Dunia inasonga very fast and parents tunabaki tukiwa static. We need to develop the muscle to run with the world vile inakimbia.
She's right.
Know what it is that captivates them where they go. Now, there's something called parental control. Na parental control iko kutoka kwa ile gari yako Reverend Wangoto. Una kitu unawekanga child dog kwa mlango ndio asijifungulie mwenyewe.
Yeah.
That's parental control.
Yes.
When you tell them you can only do this, you can't do, that's parental control.
Okay.
Even on electronic gadgets like now, the ones that help us access the internet, you can access parental control.
Yeah.
What is talked about, the withdrawal, is one. And you need to have the muscle as a parent to actually withdraw gadgets from the children. Because we are also dealing with a generation today, ilizaliwa ikapatiwa simu.
Yeah.
Sisi, mi naweza kutoka hapa leo unless nilikuwa na expect chaplain atanipigia simu, ama Reverend Jehi atanipigia simu. Naweza kutoka hapa na nikaenda mpaka Meru bila simu and I don't feel anything. So long as I have my watch, I can tell time, I'm good to go. But we are also talking about their generation. Walizaliwa wakapewa simu as a play item. So this is the world they know.
Yes.
For me, I would say, instead of withdrawing it from them, because it also helps them to develop themselves, know how to control, one, the usage of this gadget. Kama ni ya shule, ni sawa. We can't limit school. But then, do you even know what social media sites they patronize for one?
Okay.
If you get to know how those social media sites operate, then you are able to guide them accordingly. Ni kama like when you have the hardware and the software. Number one, parental control. wapatie software ya maisha, so that they're able to know nikienda hivi, these are the consequences, nikienda hivi.
happen.
Yes,
Yeah.
but at a higher level, there's a friend of mine who does this, and I'm sure a few more parents would know this. He allows the children to use gadgets even for school, but he has created a parental control on the internet for them.
Okay.
So hata akiwa kazini kule, anaenda kazini because hata shinda kwa nyumba.
Yes.
Akiaccess tu email yake tu hivi, anajua wase leo wameshinda site hii, site hii, site hii, site hii. So he is able to call them to account. He talked about accountability.
Yes.
He is able to call them to account. Msee, nilikupatia laptop, internet iko kwa nyumba ya kutumia kufanya homework ya shule. Sasa huku ulikuwa unafanya nini? You see? And once they know you are watching,
Yeah.
they'll be more careful.
Thank you guys for watching. That was part A about our youth, where our youth, and kindly don't forget to subscribe for part B. It's coming.